Hello, and thank you for joining us. I am Maria Morales, Business Engagement Consultant with Marshalltown, IowaWORKS. I am co-hosting with Nikki Litzel, who is the Business Engagement Consultant in Waterloo. Today, we're hosting this live training to help with the transition from Teach Iowa and IowaWORKS. So welcome, everybody. The IowaWORKS website is a robust with a lot of features for both job seekers and employers. We will go over some of those highlights in today's webinar. And then at the end, we will allow some time for questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. In addition, we will be having similar webinars coming up this week. And at the end, we will give you those details on when those will be in case some of your team was not able to join today's webinar. Following today's training, you will also have the opportunity to reach out to your local business engagement consultant to take a deeper dive into the available options on the site. So for that agenda, we will be having an overview of IowaWORKS, just kind of going over some signing, how you can sign in, update your profiles, post a job, and then go over some powerful tools that IowaWORKS has. So this right here is our homepage. So the website to go into IowaWORKS is iowaworks.gov, and it will look like a screen like this on the screen. And you have a button on the top right-hand corner. Sign in right here. Every school district already has an account, so you will not need to create an account or register since you already have an account. You will just have to click on sign in. On this screen, you will also be able to see the current openings IowaWORKS have. So this is the current openings that all of the openings in IowaWORKS. You will also see the unemployment rate currently, and then also see explore education related careers opportunities. So there is an indicator for all of our educational opportunities. That way, when job seekers are looking for work and they want to look for an educational opportunity or teaching job, they can just click on this icon right here and it will take them directly to all the openings that are currently available in IowaWORKS. The great thing about IowaWORKS is job seekers can start looking for work, even if they don't have a profile. They can still, do some work searches. Once they find a work search and a job posting that interests them and they want to apply, then they'll be guided to sign in, or if they don't have an account, so they can create one. So we just wanted to give you kind of a summary page of what it looks like. We know what job seekers can see and what they can do, what employers also can do, like finding candidates, post some job openings, what incentives are available for businesses, any additional information. And then also, if you want to take a look at the labor market information, there are different tools that you can use with that. I am now going to introduce you to Nikki, and she will be covering the next part of the training.
Hello, everyone. As Maria mentioned, my name is Nikki Litzel. I am the Business Engagement Consultant in Waterloo, and I'm going to go over the next part of our training today that talks about signing in as an employer. When you go to the sign-in page, as Maria mentioned, you already have an account. All of our school districts have been set up with accounts already. And so when you go to sign in, you will need to, for the first time, you will need to get a couple of things to get in the very first time. And most of the schools that we've connected with across the state should already have this information. But if you don't, we'll have information at the end on how to receive that information. But there are 5 steps to first log in if you haven't done it recently. You need your username for your account. You'll need a phone number. You'll need a zip code and the security question and security answer. Now, A lot of times the phone number may not be exactly the phone number you're thinking of. So that's why you will need to reach out to your business engagement consultant and get that information. So your information for username, phone number, zip code, and the security question and answer match exactly that first time you're logging in. Once you're in to have that username, again, here's what the screen will look like. You'll have the username and then the zip code. You'll need to type that in and match exactly the phone number. Again, that's where that's required. And then there's actually a system generated default security question at first. And so you'll need to know that security question and the security question response. And then once you're in, you can set that password. You do have to follow the rules, as most passwords have rules. But once you get your password in, then you can go in and change anything that you need to on your account regarding the phone number, or you can even change the security question and response as well. Once you are into the account, it will take you to the employer dashboard that looks very similar to this when you first log in. And you'll have a lot of different options, and we encourage you to go in and test out the site and click on the different options that you have on your dashboard and just get to know them, get familiar with them. As you see, there's generally a pop-up that pops up that says you have 5 or so many unread messages. A lot of times you will get notifications through an internal system, that's kind of an internal email account that will send out information periodically on a local level to employers whenever there's job fairs or hiring events or any opportunities. That's a message center that we send internal messages through. So if you ever want to go in and check that. And in some cases, you can also check that as an option for receiving notifications of job applicants as well. If you're wanting to change the widgets, we call those folders that you saw on your dashboard, you're able to decide what widgets you want to see. And so this is an option that you can configure your widgets and rearrange it to make it look how you prefer it to look on your dashboard. So every school district can have a different looking dashboard that's more customized for what works best for you. This is the general information page that you will want to make sure first and foremost is updated with your general information for your school district. A lot of times the school district will have an administrative information on your main page. So you'll want to put all of that information in. It already, again, should have been set up, but if you need to make any updates, this is where you would do that on the general information page. It does show your federal ID number. Every district has their own unique federal ID number, and that is how you have an account that traces back to that federal ID number. So we've had questions on multiple school locations. Every school district has one account with IowaWORKS. Also on the main page, this is a really great feature of IowaWORKS that you can create a company profile and you can tell a little bit of information about your school district. And this is really your marketing piece where you market why people should apply to work with you and work in your school district. So you can choose what you want to say for your company profile. And then the neat thing about it is it creates a tiny URL that you can basically copy and link anywhere, including on your own personal website, on your own district website, for people to get information on your open positions. So on the right side of the screen there, that gives an example of what that tiny URL will link to and what that will show you. So, and that includes your company profile, number of employees, all that information, and then also includes your open job orders that are on your sites. The next tab over After general information, you'll want to go through and make sure all of your locations are updated with all of your different schools, school buildings. If you have an elementary school, if you have a high school or a middle school, you'll want to add all of those locations next. That would be the next step. If you haven't done that already, want to make sure that you've got those all updated, as well as contacts. And you can see on the far right under actions, you can edit the location, you can view contacts. If you ever need to inactivate a location for any reason, you're able to do that. The case manager probably doesn't apply so much, but those are all the different things that you can do in adding the location that will go back tied to your job order. And then the next tab over is the contacts and users. And so that's where you will create the contacts and users that will be assigned to each location. And so this is the page, this is the tab where you're able to add all of the contacts that you want to have, be able to have access to your account to see any job posting or job applicants that would be tied back into any job orders that you have with your school district. And then also under adding those contacts, this is where you can add user privileges. And this is we've had again some questions on how to add privileges for being able to see applicants and postings and be able to edit job orders, copy job orders, create job orders. All of those different privileges are all on this tab under user privileges. So that's where you, once you create those contacts and have those sign-in information, then you can create the privileges that each person is allowed to have. And only the primary contact has those privileges, has the ability to change the privileges of each contact. Okay, so that was the section about general information and user profiles and contacts. I'm going to see if there's any questions in the chat here. Looks like there's a question. When viewing job postings for our district under managed jobs, can I do any of the following? This is a long question. We're going to get to actually posting jobs. So I'm going to let you, if you want to continue to put your question in the chat box, I'm going to continue on and hopefully we can circle back and maybe answer that question about posting jobs. Okay. So this is the next step for posting jobs. So there's multiple ways to get to the place where you want to post your job orders. This is one way to get to it under recruitment services. This you can see on your dashboard and you go to manage jobs and you'll have the option to view current job orders, edit, delete, or copy current jobs, add a new job order or view applicants or search by criteria. We're going to talk about creating that creating a job order. Okay, so creating a job order, here's an example of the screen that you'll see under manage job orders. In this case, a job order is already posted. So we're showing an example of what it looks like once it's an active job order. And there's a green button at the bottom of the page that says add a new job order. So you can click on that. If you don't have any job orders, that green button will still be there and you'll have the option to add a new job order. You can also see there's a way to copy a job order. And there's also a way you can pull up existing or expired job orders that were, may have expired in the past. They go into an archive that you can access and pull that up and copy it. You can edit it and then repost that job order. So that's pretty handy that you can do that. For today, we are going to, you have a couple of options. That would be the next screen that would come up is manual, which is minimal data for a basic job order. Or you can do manual entry with a custom job order, and that's more of a step-by-step data entry process. It has a little more flexibility in custom settings. And again, you could have the option of copying an existing job order, which again, if there's something already in there and your contact information is in there, you can pretty much copy any job order and change anything as much or as little as you want by copying an order. But for today's purposes, we're going to actually do the custom job order, which is a little bit longer process, but we want to show you all of the different options available. Okay, so you'll go to this page. We're going to manually create an order, and you'll want to keep the job title simple and use keywords that job seekers would use to find your job opening. In this example, we're showing a teacher. The next step is to select the job occupation, and that's based on your job title. So you can see that it brings up a pop-up, and we're plugging in education, and then you'll have a list of choices to pick what type of teacher that occupation keyword would match up with. And then also there is an option for agency job ID. You'll see that it's not required to put in an agency job ID. You can put that if you have any type of internal number that you would want to assign to a job occupation. You're welcome to use that. This site is used for lots of different employers, and there may be employers that have different types of internal job postings that they want to assign numbers to. So that's an option as well. And from there, you'll choose which information you'd like to have displayed online. This is where you can decide what you want to be seen by the job seekers. Things like your company name and work site address. This is also where you list the number of positions, earliest and latest date to display the job, whether it's full-time or part-time. There's also a question about remote work and maximum number of applicants you will accept. Most cases, again, remote won't probably apply, but this is where a lot of different employers may have that option for allowing remote work. The other thing we want to point out is when you create the job, it defaults to 30 days of being posted, but you have the ability to change the dates that you want that job to be posted on both earliest and latest date. You can go in and make those changes. Then this is where you go to the job description, and you have a few options. You can write your own. You can copy and paste from an existing job description, or you can insert sample text that is detailed or in a summary. If you choose the sample text, you can still edit it or customize what you want to appear to applicants. So a lot of times we've been working with some school districts that have had some jobs already posted on Teach Iowa. And if there's already a job description created, we've been able to just copy and paste that over into IowaWORKS. So that's pretty handy. But this is an opportunity where you can add more information for the job applicants to see the job description. The next option is to select the skills required for the job. You have options to use default skills for the occupation, copy from an existing job order, choose from a list of available skills, or not list any skills. You can also add tools and technology skills that may be required for the job, including a specific work key score. And there's a link for a work key score that gives more information about that option. Here's an example of some general skills you may require by simply checking the boxes. This is where you can add hiring requirements such as drug screening, reference checks, COVID-19 vaccine, or any other hiring requirements that you want to include. Some occupations may require minimum age, education, or experience, and then that's where you can fill that in on this section as well. Though it's not required, it is highly recommended that you include the wage range on your job posting. You're over 40% more likely to get an applicant by listing the wages and benefits of your job posting. The slider bar is a helpful tool to let you know how your salary range compares with other similar job postings, and that pulls in labor market information. Nearing the end of your job order is connecting with the job seeker through the application process. IowaWORKS allows several options for you to get responses from candidates. The most common and recommended option is through an IowaWORKS or uploaded resume. You can check multiple boxes and edit the contact information, whether it's via email, postal mail, phone, or in person. You can also input your company's online application in that
I cast it again. I cast it a little bit ago and it shut the volume off.
And if there's further explanation needed for how to apply, there's actually a text box there for to provide a brief description of the application process. And if you want, you know, if you want to include additional contact information for applying for the job, there is, again, that text box that you can add more information for any job candidate. If you prefer to do any additional screening of applicants, you can add questions to your custom job order as you see here, and you can require a response or you can make it optional. The last part of your job order is choosing to upload it on the National Labor Exchange, which helps the job to be more visible and gets it shared publicly with other websites. Then just a few other optional questions about the job. Is it green, federal contractor for an enterprise zone? Those are kind of just, again, some generic questions that are in the system for multiple employers who use the system. There's a little definition of what a green job is. Then once a final save and you're just about done. One thing to note is that the Jobs for Veterans Act gives priority of service to veterans seeking employment and training. For the first 24 hours after posting your job, it will only be seen by veterans who are identified by a flag icon. You can see that there on the screen. After 24 hours, it will be released to all job seekers. That's another thing we've had questions on from some school districts. Are we able to change that? Unfortunately, or fortunately, we do prefer, we do give priority of service for veterans. So there is no way for us to change that. That is a required option for having veterans have priority of service for seeing that job for the first 24 hours. Okay. I think that is my last screen. We'll go through and see if there's any questions. We have multiple locations with the same address. Not sure if I know.
Yes, you can have multiple locations with the same address. So I know I had a school district that had their district office at the same location at their high school, but they still wanted to have the difference between the district posting position and the high school posting position. You can have the same address, just label it district office.
Yeah, okay. And then when entering a job order, can you minimize the directions and just see the field so we don't have to scroll down so much? I think is that might be asking about more of the basic option, because there is a basic option for creating a job order that doesn't have as much of that information. So I think that's what you're asking, Kara. And again, there's a way to do a more basic job order when you create the job order. Hopefully that. And job numbers are not auto-assigned to job orders when posted. Actually, they are. Job orders are automatically assigned. You can create, again, an agency, an internal job order number, but there are actually numbers that do get assigned once that job order gets created and posted in IowaWORKS. So you can use that number as a reference. And especially internally, if you're saying we posted job number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can share that out with your team and say, go look at job order number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay,
Sarah, we need to circle back if you're having some other issues with multiple pieces. Oh, how to get to the archive job. Yes, we could probably show that. That might be, we might want to do that live. Want me to do that?
let me go ahead and finish the presentation, and at the end, we'll answer all the questions and go live for any scenarios that we meet. In case there's individuals that need to hop off, and we do want to respect your time. So over, can you mute, Nikki, if you don't mind? Thank you. So now we're gonna go over some powerful tools that IowaWORKS has, like some different features, like searching up some candidates, tracking some applicants, placing some notes on resumes, how you can send emails or messages to job seekers that have applied, or even if they didn't apply, but you saw the resume and want to contact them, how you can do that. How you can set up what we call a virtual recruiter, which it does some resume mining automatically on its own to whatever we set up, and we'll go over all of those. How you can receive email alerts, and then the 3 different types of indicators that we currently have in IowaWORKS. So the first section we'll go over is the different ways you can do a candidate search. So one way would be is, let's say you have your teaching job posting, and you want to see what resumes are available with the current occupation that you listed or requirements that you indicated. You would click search by job criteria. And by clicking there, the system will automatically pull resumes, look like something like the screen below, pull resumes of all the different job seekers currently in IowaWORKS to meet your requirements. Or another way to view them is to do some resume mining. We'll go over that section a little bit. The other piece of it is tracking applicants, how you can track applicants. So once you have your job posting in IowaWORKS, like Nikki was mentioning, how you can have your start date, your end date, there's also that opportunity to view how many individuals have viewed your posting, and also how many applicants are there. Once you click on that applicant tab, it will have like a hyperlink and take you to a listing of all your applicants that you currently have. Even if this job order closes or you end up filling it, but later, the individual was not a good fit and you want to go back to that list, you can always go back and view those applicants as well. Those won't go away. And then there's a feature on there to track them. So once you have a list of all your applicants that have applied, you can also set up their status. So you can put if you hire them, if you didn't hire them, rate them if they were exceptional, if they weren't suitable. You can rate them however you want. All of this is extra. You don't have to do all of this in IowaWORKS, but if you do want to keep track, and in case they applied next time, or if you have a team of HR or your business managers or the principal superintendent, that way you guys know who you interviewed, because you can change this also to interviewed or not interviewed. And then also rate them. Like I said, all of these are all optional tools that IowaWORKS has, and it's up to you if you want to use them or not. You can also write or add some resume notes. So once you view a resume on here, you can go to the notes section and put whatever notes you want. And all the notes and the ratings are only viewed by you. So the job seeker won't be able to view, what they're rated as. And then we have the virtual recruiter section. The virtual recruiter, that's where you're able to have the system automatically find alerts or find resumes for you. So let's say that you have, let's pretend we're going to do a teaching one. Let's say we have a teaching opening. We'll just go under recruitment services tab. Under there, it'll say virtual recruiter. Then we're going to create a new resume alert. And let's say we want to search, in Marshall County area for a teaching job, for a teaching occupation. And what it does, it gives us a list of the different resumes available. And as you'll notice, some will have the flag, meaning that they're veterans, and it'll give us that list. If we want to save that list, then we will click on Save Search. And then we get to save it. So let's say this one was for teacher. So we'll say teacher, and then how often do you want the system to run it for? Do you want it every day? Do you want it once a week or once a month? And how do you want to be notified? Do you want to receive just a message center internally once you log in, like Nikki mentioned at the beginning? Or do you want to get an email or a text message? Or if there's no resumes found, do you still want to get an email saying no resumes were found? And also, when do you want it to expire? And you can have as many alerts as you want. You can have one for your teaching jobs, maybe from your support staff or bus drivers, any of those positions, coaches, and have the system automatically run those. That way, if you're you're super busy and you don't have time to look at all the different resumes, the system can do all of that for you. And then you can just view the resumes and decide if you want to call them or not. And then it goes into emails and messages. So let's say that you have a resume, or you received a resume, or you view their application. You can click send this individual a message, and it'll send them a message on your behalf. It'll have something pre-populated stating, we saw your resume on IowaWORKS. We're interested in talking to you. Please give us a call, and I'll have your contact information. Or you can create one. So let's say that you didn't see the resume, but you found an applicant. The other way is to go to your communication center on your tabs and go through message center and create a new message. And that's, another way you can do a message. And then email alerts, how to make sure that you are getting those email alerts on your profile at the beginning, where Nikki was telling you, once you log in, it has all your profile. It'll have a notification that looks like this that will say, please select a method in which you prefer to receive your notifications. Here you can say, if you only want an internal message, if you only want an email, if you want a text message, if available, a text message notification, or if you want to do an internal message with email notification. I recommend this one just in case you're not logging into IowaWORKS every day or throughout the day. You will still get the email notification saying, hey, this person applied, or here's this resume. That way you can log in instead of having to check, every day or all the time to see if you have any internal messages in IowaWORKS. And then we have different types of indicators. So we have one, for home-based Iowa. This is for employer indicators. We have one for home-based Iowa, or an employer that you're willing to hire veterans. We would connect you with their leader, and they would go over all the great benefits that you have as an employer willing to hire veterans and how they can help you. And then we will make sure you have the indicator. So when job seekers are looking for work and they see a job posting, next to your name, it'll say home-based Iowa. And then we also have the educator logo or indicator, which will look like this. So all the school districts that have openings for any types of job postings that are within the school district will have this indicator right here. And then this one right here would be for those employers that have a registered apprenticeship. So if you are a school district that has a registered apprenticeship, let us know and we'll make sure that you have that registered apprenticeship indicator. And all of these indicators are helpful. That way you can have more applicants and also job seekers know, that you're willing to hire veterans, that this is a job postings for educators, and that you have a registered apprenticeship. And the way it looks in your system, so this is an example of one of our school districts that, we're excited to see this, that they have all three. So that means that they are, an employer, that they are willing to hire veterans, and they do have some openings, for teaching jobs or educator jobs or, support staff for in the school district, but they also have a registered apprenticeship program. So when a job seeker sees this, they'll know, okay, I can contact them because it looks like they have a registered apprenticeship. And then, like Nikki was mentioning, we also have indicators for veterans, for job seekers. So if you see a account and they have this flag, that means that that individual is a veteran. So what are the next steps? So now that we provided a quick overview of those job postings, what features IowaWORKS has, now you can begin using IowaWORKS for your job postings. And you can start searching for your next employee, while you're using IowaWORKS. If you don't know who your local business engagement consultant is, in the next slide, we will be providing an email and phone number where you can call or email, and we will make sure you get connected to your local business engagement consultant. So make sure, if you do know who your local business engagement consultant is, contact them if you need more one-on-one assistance. Or let's say that you posted a job, but you're not sure if you did it right. If you want someone to look at it, let us know. Contact us and we'll look at your job posting to see if there's anything that we could do. Or if you say, I've been having this job posting for a week now, and we haven't received any applications or any applicants, we can look at the job description and see, if we need to make any changes. Maybe we can look at the labor market information, if there's anything that we need to do there as well to make the job more appealing. And for those future webinars, we will be having the next one on Monday, July 10th from 9 to 10:30. Usually they don't last the whole hour and a half, but we do want to be able to provide enough time for any questions, since I know this is, something completely new, and we want to be able that you leave and feel comfortable that you're going to use IowaWORKS and we can answer any questions you have, and also give enough time to do any live examples on how to do things for the questions that you're asking. And then the next one after that would be Thursday, July 13th from 1:30 to 3. So if you have any of your staff that were not able to make it to today's webinar, feel free to let them know the times and dates of the next one. That way they can attend. And Nikki and I will be going over the same presentation, so you don't have to attend all three of them, because we'll be going over the same exact presentation. And for the job posting option, the way to apply, there's different, like Nikki was mentioning, there's different ways. It doesn't have to be that you receive resumes through IowaWORKS. That's, a plus in case you don't have your own website to apply. You can do all of that through IowaWORKS. But if you have your own website, you can enter the link to your website, and then when job seekers view your job position and click apply, they'll be redirected to your website and they can apply directly. Okay, and then the next screen right here talks about or lists the local business engagement team. So this is our email address. In case you don't know who that person is, you can email this email, which is iaworks@iwd.iowa.gov, or you can call our 1-833-469-2967, and that is our business engagement phone line, and it's answered every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. You're more than welcome, if you already know who your local business engagement consultant is, to continue contacting them. But if for some reason you don't know who that is, this is why we have this one-stop shop phone number and email. That way we know that you're being assisted. And let's take a look at the questions here. So we already went over about the ratings. So it's not viewable by the applicant. Once you do rate someone, it asks you if you want other employers to see it, and you can just click the box to check that if you want other employers to see it. But if you don't check it, then no one else will be able to see it, only you and your team. How do you get the indicators? For the school district, those are already be on there, but if you find that you don't have yours, let us know, whether it's contacting your local BEC or emailing or calling this business engagement consultant phone number, and we'll make sure we add them. For the home-based Iowa one, we would connect you to your leaver. So that leaver is that individual that will help you and provide more information on benefits as an employer who provides services to veterans. And for all of those indicators, just contact your local BEC and we'll help you get connected to who can add them to you, whether it's that leaver or if it's us automatically as the BEC. And then the registered apprenticeship indicator, that will be added once you have we verify that you have a registered apprenticeship program. Let's
Okay,
see.
there's another question about getting to the archived job. So I can share my screen and show you where that is. Okay, so when you go to manage job orders, I'm scrolling really fast here. The school district has a lot of job postings, but it'll go to the job orders tab. And then at the very bottom, depending on how many job orders you have in there, and if you have 0, it'll show up a lot higher. But if you have, you go all the way to the bottom, and then there is an option to say show all jobs, including inactive and expired. So that is where your archive jobs will appear. By clicking on that, it'll take you to a similar screen, which I'll click on here. The school has mostly all of theirs are active, but at the very bottom, there's a few. So these are from 2017 that you can see they have some groundskeeper positions, maintenance technicians. So once you click on that, it will take you to the inactive and expired jobs as well. Any other questions? I think there were some other ones in the chat, Maria.
And then another thing you can do is if you only want to see the jobs that are inactive, can you mute Nikki, please? Sorry, we discovered that once we're both on, it gives us an echo, so I apologize for that. But what I was saying is, if you go to the page where Nikki was at, there's an option where you can view all inactive jobs only. That way you don't have like a long list, but if you know that they're inactive, you can look at that inactive list to make it a shorter list, and view it that way too. Or if you have many locations, but you only are in charge of a certain area, you can also filter it too by only view locations by that specific location. And that's Nikki showing you right now. So you would expand that job filter criteria. You would click on the little plus sign. And then where it says job order status, where it says any, it's usually always on any, but you can change it to expired or just view expired, or if you have any veteran holds, or if you want to see just the active ones. If I want to view all of them, I usually do any, and that will show me all even that expired ones. But if I know that it's expired and I have like 100 jobs opening and I don't want to view all of them, I can just go to, expired just to see those. And then you can pick, a certain location too. So if you want to see any openings in this location, you can do it that way. And the location list is up here. You know, like you see this, school districts has different locations. Usually it's always listed under all locations, but you can just change it under active if you don't want to view any inactive locations. Yep, and then if you keep scrolling down, it'll give you, you will just click filter and it will list them.
There's a question about endorsements. Maria, do you want to answer that? Where they enter endorsements required for teachers applying?
Yes, there is a section on there where it says, talks about what types of if there's any certifications, and if there are, you'll just list them. Do you want to pull up a job order, Nikki? It can be any job order. And let me go back up because I know there was other questions. Are there printed directions we can get? Yes, there is a guide that walks you through on how to go over IowaWORKS. We can provide that to you. We will, if you just want to type your email address in the chat, and we will be able to send that to you. And if you want to put your name, what school district you're with, and your email, that would be great. That way we can send that over because it doesn't look like we have a list. Okay, yep, go ahead and edit any job posting. And I can show you where you can put that certification. Keep scrolling down. Scrolling. So right here, do you see where it says minimum education, experience, and age requirement? If you click on edit minimum education, so click there. And it'll say, does this job require a certification? It would be yes. For the teaching job, you would say yes, and then you know what type of endorsement is needed or what type of teaching certification. You know, is it a substitute teacher? Is it a high school teaching license, or what specific endorsement is needed? That's where you would click yes. And if there isn't any, then you would just say no. Let's see what other questions. I'm just scrolling up, just bear with me one moment. Just and actually, sorry, I'm just going all the way to the top because there's some questions that we missed. So we already showed how to do the archive jobs. Under job details, is it possible to display not required or until filled? Job details. Can you go to a job and look under job details just to make sure we know what they're referring to? I'm not sure if you're referring to like the end date of the job. Let's see, job details. Okay, yeah, so I think you are referring you are referring to the end date. So we do recommend to put an end date just because we want your jobs to be fresh. Meaning if we don't put an end date or put like an end date of a year later, as new job orders come in, yours will keep going to the bottom and the bottom and the bottom. But if you only have it open for a month, after that month, you can just copy it again and it will bump up to the top of the listing. So when job seekers are viewing your openings, your job posting won't stay all the way at the bottom, but it will stay at the top. That's why we recommend having that end date. Okay, let's go to the next question. Once the job is posted, how are the applicants able to apply? Do they have to create an account even though we want to direct them to apply on our district website? And that was the only option checked. Yep, so if you check that you want the individual to apply directly to your job site, then they will, once they click on apply now, they will be directed to your website and then they will apply. They will, once they can view their job posting without having an account, but once they click on apply now, they will have to have an account. Even though the system may direct them to your website, the system won't know, if it's going to be your website or IowaWORKS. It'll still tell them to log in and create that account, and then it will redirect them to your website. If you don't have a website listed, then they can receive an application through IowaWORKS. And what that looks like, it's just a generic application with the individual's name, phone number, employment history, education, and you can see that, or you can get the resume. There are at times that even though you selected that you want to get them directed to your website, I know that some individuals still send a resume to you, and that's just because the individual wants to. But whatever you indicated you want the individual to do, that's what they should be doing. And if for some reason they only send you the resume and not apply, I mean, that just, shows, that they were following, the proper steps to apply. But if you selected that link to your school district, then the individual would do that. See. If we want to refer back to this recording of the session, where can I find it? So we will have this, this is being recorded, and we will post it in our Iowa Workforce Development website. But if you send, once again, like your name, what school district you're with, your email address, you can include your job title too, we can make sure you receive it. Do other schools see your ratings? No, only if you indicated that you wanted them to see it. If not, then only you. And nope, the applicants will not be able to view your ratings. And we talked about the indicators. If you mark that you want them to apply to the application or resume, does it make them to do both? Or one or the other? They'll do one or the other. So the more options that you put on the job application method, the more ways you'll have applicants to apply, but it won't make them do both. It'll just do one or the other. Some may do both, some may do all. It's all up to the job seeker on what they want to do. We let them know how you prefer to be to apply, but at the end of the day, the job seeker might do whatever they want or however they want to apply. Can you make it so the job does not have an activate date? Yep, so we already talked about if it's best of date, there's the end date. That way your job doesn't get, lost all the way at the bottom of the job postings. How do you archive a job? Can you go back to the job postings? Thank you. And the way to do that is, let's say that you already filled your position. There's options that you can say if you already filled them or it's no longer needed. Once we get it pulled up, we'll show you. Okay, yep, so here, so you see this one right here, this one, expired, but if you click on it, you'll have options. If it's already closed, if you already filled it. We don't want to place any on hold, and we try not to let them go to expire. I know that at times they may go to expired if you don't close it on time. If you just let it close automatically by itself, then it will go expired. But if you really want to keep track of them, and close them and say, hey, already filled, or if you reopened it, that's where you can archive it. Yeah, but just go into that expired and then just changing it instead of active. Or you can just go to the date and put today's date, and then that will make it expired. By the end of the day, it will be archived, and then nobody will, no one will be, the public won't be able to see it, but you will still be able to see it when you filter it to looking at all the jobs. See. Is there a report that lists all jobs without any detail? Yes. So once you go to your company profile, there is that tiny URL, and it'll give you a list of all the openings without any detail. Do you want to pull that up, Nikki? Sorry. We went over endorsements already. This is your profile. If you scroll all the way down, here where it says company profile, and then in this case, this one doesn't have a company profile, so there's no information there, but there is still that tiny URL. So if you copy it, so go ahead and copy it, or just go to view summary. Yep, just paste it. Either or, you can paste it on, Google, or click the view summary, and you'll be able to view all your openings, a list of all the current openings that you have. Let's say that you want to post this link on your website, you can do that too. So you can grab that hyperlink and post it in your school district's website. So that way individuals can click on it and view all your openings that you have. And if they want to apply to any of them, they can just click the hyperlink and it'll direct them to IowaWORKS to view that job posting and apply through IowaWORKS if that's what it says. Or if it's up to apply to you, then it will redirect them to your website. Thank you, Nikki. Let's see. This one. Yep, so we talked about this. Is there an easier way to have our jobs reposted so they are at the beginning of the search list instead of individually going in and updating the dates one by one? So when you go into the list of all your openings, you can just click on copy, but there isn't one to do. I mean, we can do one internally, and I mean, we can show you how you can do that mass entering if you want to. I mean, there is a way to enter multiple jobs at once. There is a process for that. You will still enter them one by one in that template, but it will be faster that way. But the other way would be just to go to each job and just copy it. And then if it's the same thing, then you would just copy it, but exact. And then that's it. You won't have to change anything. But if you need to change the location or you need to do minor changes, there's an option to edit it and make those changes. But usually it just takes 2 clicks. So 1 click for copy, and then the other click to say, yes, I want to copy it exactly how it is. And then that's it. You don't have to go through all the steps or all the next when you create your first job posting. So there was on our IowaWORKS development page and also the website letting individuals know, so not just the school district, but individuals know that going forward, to utilize IowaWORKS instead of Teach Iowa. So there was like a press release sent out. Yep, so can you show the best way to print an application? We have disclosed. Can you go to, well, I can show you how to print a job, but I think you want to know, make sure that your questions show. What school district, maybe we can connect afterwards and see what school district you're with. That way we can go to your actual account and see why isn't it printing, or if, because there's different ways you can print, like the detailed view or a summary view. It might be that you're doing one view instead of the other one, but if it still doesn't let you, connect with us and we'll be able to work one-on-one with you and go to your account to make sure that whatever additional questions you did post, that it also prints on those applications. Yep, so when you create a user, what will happen is the system, IowaWORKS, will automatically send an email, 2 emails, one with their username and then the other one with their temporary password. And now they'll be able to log in. You won't get any email yourself letting them know that they received it, but the system does do it automatically. And you can always follow up with the person that you added just to make sure that they did receive that email. If you post a job position at a certain location, does everyone associated with that location have access to the posting? For example, we might have our ad. Yep, so once you add, whoever you add, just make sure you have them, give them access to whatever, to each location. That way they can, view all the postings, but everybody will be able to view all the postings. Just when you post them, just make sure that you add them to that location. So when you're creating that job order, their name will still show up under, whether it's a high school, elementary school, their contact will show up there. Did you want to say something, Nikki?
And I would also add, Brooke, that's where you give them privileges. In that privileges tab, you can allow them to look at it, but not, you can limit privileges or give them all the privileges. So that's also a tab that you can use with your different staff that you want to give them different access to the job posting and the applicants both.
Thank you, Nikki. The next question is, when you copy a job, do the applicants move with the new copied job? No. So once you copy a job, it will be brand new. So you have new applicants. Your old applicants will stay in the previous one. And that way you'll know, that these applicants applied during this time. And then once you copied your new one, you'll have new applicants. That way you won't be like, well, who's who, or who did I already talk to? They won't mix. Once we add the different locations of our schools and admin associated with it, will they get their own login? So you'll have to make sure that when you create them as a contact, if you create them, that you give them sign-in privileges. Do you want to bring up your screen, Nikki, and show them that? So once you add them, so not only do you add them, but there will be an option, say sign in, and that's where you're going to give them privileges on what privileges do you want to give them. Do you want to give them all privileges, or do you only want to give them privilege to view resumes, or only to create job postings? That's totally up to you. So for all the school districts that I work with, they've just done all privileges, but I know there's some school districts that only want to do certain individuals only look at resumes and maybe not add any job orders. So there's an option for that too. And Nikki will pull up that screen so we can show you how where you would go when you add someone. So let's pretend we added, you can just click on any of them. Let's pretend we just added this individual. So this will be the screen. Once you add them, I'll ask all these questions. But once you add them, you'll just go through the next button. And once you get to user Actually, once you get a sign-in information, once you get to this screen, you will click the box that says give this contact the ability to sign in. So you'll click that box there, and then you will be able to add a username. Right now, there's already a username, but you can add a username. And if you notice that if you have an account from the past that was transferred over from one of our older systems, you'll notice that it'll have your name and then really long numbers. You can always change your username to shorten it to something shorter. We recommend that you use like your first and last name for your username, because every contact will have its own username. So even though, let's say that currently you have your business manager and then later they leave, or the superintendent, we'll add that new person and they'll have their own username and password. So you won't be sharing your username and password with anybody. So go back to sign-in information. So that's where you can change it. And then that new password, you'll be able to give them that temporary password. So once we add them, we have our own temporary password that we use, but here you can create whatever temporary password you want, and the system will send that email to them with that temporary password. And also the security question, you can pick, whichever, we have it defaulted to what is your pet's name. And if you have an old account, it will allow you to put special characters, but going forward, it won't. So like if we save it now, it'll give us an alert saying that you can't have special characters, that it's not allowed. So that's why we don't allow those special characters anymore. I know in the past, once it transferred over, it did. So just don't add any special characters. So then once you go to user privileges, here's where you can choose what privileges you want to give them. If you want to give them basic contact privileges, like to view, do some edits, or if you want to do recruiting privileges, or if you only want them to view resumes for candidates. So it has different privileges. It's up to choose if you want to be really specific and only give certain individuals certain ones. That's totally up to you. I know most of my school district, they don't go into each one and make all these changes. It's because it's easier for them and they trust their team, so they just give them all privileges. But I know not all school districts want to give everybody all the same privileges. Okay, let's look at where do you change the profile picture? That will be under your profile, company information, and that's the first page there. Yep, so you can still, once you copy the job, your old applicants, you can still view them. So once you go to your expired or your inactivated jobs and pull that job, you can still click on those applicants to view them. So once you do those teaching endorsements, you would just add them, add what endorsements you want them to have. You can add them. It doesn't give like a list of what endorsements are available. It will just give you an option to add them. Kind of where we showed you under that minimum education, there's a question that says, is there a certification or license required? You would say yes, and then it'll prompt you to add what that license or certification or endorsement is, and you will list it there. But it doesn't have like pop-up listing that you get to select different endorsements, but you can add them. Yep. Is there any other question? Or did I miss a question? I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss any. I'm just double checking. I think we did get all of the questions. You're on mute, Nikki. Did you want to say something?
Sorry, I'll show really quick how to update the logo. As Maria mentioned, it's on the profile page. So this is where you go through and down where this box is. You can add text. But you can also, this is where you edit the employer summary profile image that's under your tiny URL. So you can view the summary profile, but you can also add an image here. So this is where you would do that. You can put your logo in. Okay, any other questions? We could probably wrap this up a little bit earlier. As Maria mentioned, we are planning to do this again on Monday next week. So if you want to join again, we're going to cover pretty much the same information, but if any team members that you have weren't able to make it today, they're welcome to log in next week, Monday, and then we're doing it again on Thursday. And then, of course, we definitely want you to connect with your business engagement consultant. If you haven't done that already, all of our team has been making huge attempts to reach out to all of our school districts the last several weeks. So if we have not connected with you, please connect with us because we definitely want to be there. And we want you to know that we are a resource and we know there's a lot to learn with this new system. So we want to be there for you. So definitely reach out and we'll make that connection for you.
And I know it's, it's something new, a new platform, but we're, like Nikki was saying, we're here to help. And there's things that till this day that we've, even learned, even though we've used, our system for a while, sometimes, we're still learning new great things that it can do. So don't feel like you have to memorize, this new platform, within, a day or two. I mean, there's lots of learning opportunities and new things that we're finding that, our platform can do. Perfect. Well, if there isn't any more questions, make sure that you do enter your name and email address, that way we can send you a copy of a guide or IowaWORKS guide that will kind of, walk you through the step-by-step on how to use IowaWORKS. And then also a copy of this recording. It should be posted on our Iowa Workforce Development website, but just in case you can't find it, we can send that out as well. And once again, thank you guys for joining us today. It's been a pleasure being here with you today. And just remember, you're not alone. We're here to help you. Contact your local business engagement consultants. And if you don't know who that is, we will add that number one more time in that email, just so you have that. Just